Hi, my name is Nicole. Welcome to my channel, Travel to Money. In this video, I will tell you about a couple of incredible places I've been able to snowboard or ski on a budget. Plus, I'll give you some shopping tips for snow sport gear that is cheap. If you are new here, I have created this channel to help you learn about how to travel, adventure, and have fun on the road to financial independence. I have traveled the world, paid off a house in Spain, and I've made big moves toward financial independence. I believe that the road to financial freedom can and should be fun. I hope that you'll subscribe and join me on this journey, no matter where you are starting from. Most of my life, I've lived in warm environments, from South Texas to Florida to the coastal area of Virginia. No snow for me, but then came my early 30s when I moved to Colorado. I lived there for 3 years and for whatever reason, never learned how to ski or snowboard. It wasn't until a couple of years after leaving Colorado that some good friends of mine provided me with the opportunity to learn. They had a condo timeshare in Keystone, Colorado, and invited me up for a weekend of skiing with them. I decided to learn how to snowboard because I thought it just looked so cool. I bet you'll never guess where I first learned how to snowboard though. Just outside of Orlando, Florida. You may be wondering how in the world I learned how to snowboard in a subtropical city known for its hurricanes and year-round humidity. Well, fortunately, there is a place in Winter Park, Florida that offers an infinite slope and also a simulator. The infinite slope is basically like a massive treadmill with white turf that is sprayed with water. You can get on it with a snowboard or skis, and it is very close to the real thing. There are other warmer markets like San Francisco that have this kind of training available as well. For me, it was an easy way to get hands-on training before trying out a real slope in Colorado. I snowboarded a few times over the years in Keystone with these sweet friends and really became addicted to snowboarding. I didn't say I'm any good, but I still love it. Let me encourage some adventurous souls out there. I didn't learn how to snowboard until my late 30s. It doesn't matter how old you are, you can get out there and learn how to ski or snowboard. Okay, so now let's talk about the places that I've been snowboarding on a bit of a budget. First of all, let's talk about the fact that snow sports are expensive in general. The gear is expensive, the lodging is expensive, and the lift tickets are expensive. So when I say that you can ski or snowboard on a budget, I'm not talking about prices that compare to when I stayed in Bali or Egypt or Montenegro, but it is cheap when compared to other normal pricing for snow sports. The first place I want to talk about is Andorra. Now, this is a bit more international, but if you happen to be in Europe, this is a great destination for snow sports. Andorra is a tiny little country nestled in the mountains between Spain and France. I initially learned about Andorra when I needed to get out of Spain for 5 days and out of the Schengen area of Europe, and Andorra happened to meet all of my needs and was only a 6-hour drive from my house in Spain. Now, for this particular trip, I booked everything separately. We booked a rental car to drive from Valencia. Our trip to Andorra was for 5 days, but I booked the rental car for 12 days for only $55. Welcome to Spain. I've always had really cheap car rentals in Spain that I find through Skyscanner. I did visit Spain in the summer of 2021, and the prices were quite a bit higher than I had paid in the past. Someone told me that due to COVID, the car rental companies sold off a lot of their cars, so the inventory is a lot lower. I don't know how true that is or how long it will last, but I would imagine that COVID will have some temporary and permanent effects on different areas of travel, depending on where you visit. I'm hoping the cheap car rentals come back to Spain at some point. Okay, so then I booked lodging. This is one of the first places where I didn't book through Airbnb. I ended up booking through booking.com and got a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, beautiful apartment that had gorgeous views with a parking garage, staying for 4 nights for only 285 euro, which is a little over 300 US dollars. That's only $150 per person. As you can see, it might be cheaper to fly to Europe and take your ski vacation. Now, we booked this the weekend of Thanksgiving in 2019, which was the opening ski weekend, about a week or two before the big crowds arrive. Ski passes in Andorra were less than €50 per day and came to around $50 per day per person, which is about half of what you'll pay at nice ski resorts in the US. The equipment rental, if you need to rent skis or snowboards, came out to about $27 per day per person. So in total, if you had 2 people on this ski trip and you split the full 12 days of car rental, 4 nights in the apartment, 3 days of lift tickets, and 3 days of equipment rental, the total per person comes to about $410. Now, if you're going to fly from the US, you would also need to include the cost of flights. I thought I had figured out a plan. Clearly, snowboarding for me was going to be less expensive in Europe. Something I could plan to do every year or so that might be a little more expensive than my normal travels. Well, then came the complication of COVID. I had no idea that a lot of my travel would become limited to the US. Now, I did take a trip to Spain and Mexico earlier this year in the summer of 2021, but I had just 5 days to take a ski vacation, and flying to Europe and dealing with jet lag and the extended travel time just didn't seem like a good idea. So in October, I began to go on the hunt for affordable ski deals. I ended up coming across a company called Snowpack. I believe they are based out of Colorado, but they put together ski packages in a variety of places. I don't usually book packages because I can be pretty good at finding deals on my own, but I really loved their process. I only looked at packages in Lake Tahoe and in Colorado. I ended up going with one of the more affordable packages. Most of the pricing is based on which hotel or resort you choose. The package includes a shuttle to and from the airport, the hotel or resort stay, your lift tickets, and your ski or snowboard equipment. You can make adjustments to the packages if you don't need equipment, for example. I was able to book a 4-night double room, and I chose a higher end deluxe room, so it was a little bit more than the basic package, and included the airport shuttle, 2 3-day lift tickets, and 2 3-day equipment packages, and the total cost was $1,460.39. That comes to $730 per person. Now, this didn't include flights. I feel like flights and transportation really depend on where you live and where you are traveling to. I was really impressed with Snowpack. They called me a week before the trip to run through everything with me. And then they called me to let me know that the shuttle from the airport to the hotel wasn't available and that an Uber would cost me around $220. They then refunded me the difference between the Uber and the shuttle cost so that I could pay for the Uber without it increasing the cost of my package. I ended up being able to rent a car for the full 4 days for less than the cost of a one-way Uber, so that worked out well. But overall, I liked that they made sure I was taken care of and had real people call me who knew what was going on with my package. They have deals on their listings that show things like how far the walk is from your hotel to the ski resort. For me, we had just a 6-minute walk, and it was so nice to be able to walk everywhere we needed to go in Lake Tahoe. We stayed at a hotel called Base Camp that had a really cool vibe to it and was set up more like a motel, which is convenient during COVID. Very reminiscent of a nice hostel, as they had fun community areas like a hot tub, a fire pit, and a beer garden with a little brewery right on property. Even though the rooms were simple, the beds were super comfy and everything was really clean. I would stay there again in a heartbeat. The skiing at Lake Tahoe was honestly a bit more difficult than I anticipated. We made some mistakes on day 1, but on day 2 we were smart enough to ask for advice from one of the guides who cheerfully took us over to a map to show us where to go on the slopes for the best skiing and snowboarding at our level. The snowboarding in Andorra was awesome and really easy to get the hang of. Both places have great downtown walking areas with shops and restaurants. Okay, so now let's talk about ski and snowboarding gear and where to get deals without breaking the bank. I always rent the board and boots for snowboarding from the ski resort. I figure it probably costs less than having to check an extra bag just for that gear. But there's still a ton of other stuff. Base layers, padding, pants, jackets, goggles, helmets, beanies. You could easily spend $1,000 just on the clothing. On my first snowboarding trip, we found a store in Orlando that sells new and used ski gear. I got a pair of awesome used ski pants for about $40. I got a used helmet in great condition for $8. Then everything else I ordered from either Geek or Wish, which are apps where you can order cheap goods from overseas. It is really, and I cannot stress this enough, it is really important to only buy items on this site that have really good reviews. I bought a pair of ski goggles, a waterproof base glove layer, and a neck warmer face cover thing, all for $23 including shipping. I thought the goggles looked good, but I wasn't sure if they would be as stylish as everything else that was out there. When I got to the ski place in Colorado, one of the employees that issues the gear complimented my goggles, so I figured they couldn't be that bad. Those 3 items I ordered on Geek. On Wish, I ordered a ski jacket for about $38, including shipping. I also ordered hip and butt pads, knee pads, and wrist guards, all for less than $50 total. On my most recent ski trip, I had to purchase snowboarding gear again because all of my gear is at my house in Spain. This time I ordered a couple of pair of really nice used ski pants from Mercari, paying $36 for a pair of Burtons and $54 for a pair of Volcom. I bought a fun vintage jacket for $32 and also bought a new Roxy jacket from that same store in Orlando for around $180. That gives you an idea of the difference between buying new and used. This time I also ordered more stuff from Wish and was happy to see that they now have helmets for sale. I bought an adjustable helmet for just $22. It fit great, had a super soft ear padding, and was exactly what I needed. One thing to know about ordering from Wish and Geek is that it can often take about a month or even more to get your items delivered, so don't save your ski trip and snowboard shopping for the last minute. Now, if you're bougie and need to have brand new name brand everything, well, you can go ahead and spend your money how you like. As for me, I'll take the savings and stick it in an investment account and retire a little early. I hope that sharing about my snowboarding experiences on a budget has helped you. It's not likely that you'll design the exact same experience as me, but hopefully it gives you some good ideas and ways to be creative when planning your own adventure. One more thought when it comes to snow sports. If you are not tied down to a job or a city, it could be really fun to work at a ski resort for a season. Many of them provide housing for a small paycheck deduction. Do some Googling and see where it takes you. You could work at ski resorts all over the world, and you usually get free lift tickets. I'd love for you to like this video and subscribe to join me where travel and adventure build financial freedom. I can't wait to see where your dreams will take you.